I became a Christian when I was 13 years old, and luckily for me, my relationship with God and the sport of wrestling kind of guided my whole life. I wrestled in high school, and I fell in love with the sport of wrestling. I knew that I wanted to be a wrestling coach and a teacher. So I was out looking around, and they said Santa Ana High School is looking for a wrestling coach. So I went in and I met with the athletic director, Bill Ross, and I shook his hand and he said, "You're hired." And I go, "You didn't ask me any questions." And he said, "Nobody else has applied for the job." Santa Ana is one of the #1 cities in the nation for economic hardship. And in Orange County, it's kind of known as the inner city where all the problems are and the gangs. I had kids that were wannabe gang members and kids that were gang members and kids with poor grades and kids who had to leave practice early to work or pay bills. We were getting crushed in all the competitions. We had a bunch of kids that had never wrestled before that were coming out and trying to learn the sport. You know, as a coach, we really focus on trying to win. And winning's going to give us notoriety, and winning's going to bring us success. And I had to kind of change the way I was looking at things and my approach to coaching at Santa Ana High School. So one day I was standing outside the wrestling room door, and I really heard the Lord speak to me. It was crystal clear. I remember today, and he said, "You're never going to win here at Santa Ana High School, so you might as well invest time in these kids." And I thought, well, what else can I do but get them to know that I cared for them outside of just being an athlete, and I cared about them spiritually and as a human being. And so I started FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, in fall of 1991 at Santa Ana High School. And I got the kids plugged into a local church where I took them, and they did some retreats, and they went up to FCA Wrestling Camp. And I just started investing time in those kids and gave up on winning, basically. These kids were coming to know the Lord and finding out that somebody really cared. Miraculously, we started winning matches. And we went on to win, at this point, 23 straight league championships. We've won 12 CIF titles. God has just blessed the program, and now over 100 kids come out a year. I decided that I would write a book, and the book's called A Saint in the City, and I describe in this book the struggles and the obstacles and trials and tribulations they had growing up, and how FCA and wrestling kind of pulled them out of that, and some of them gone on to have some fantastic careers. I feel it's my job as an older coach to be able to influence younger coaches to get their kids involved in FCA, that they might see more successes on the mat if we can get them focused on investing in the kid and not just necessarily seeing how the kid can help you, but how can you help that kid. My name is Scott Glabb, and I am a coach, I am a father, I'm a husband, and I am an author.